Alright guys, so we're down here on this little field where I got all my sets where that bobcat ran off on me. I brought my family with me today, so I got my wife and my little daughter. But we just pulled up here and I got to the first trap, and I'm going to show you guys what we have. I'm pretty excited about this one. Be careful on this hill.
I'm not walking down it.
Got this big old coyote. It's definitely my biggest one of the year. I'm going to tell by looking at it. I'm going to dispatch this one pretty quick because he's being pretty jumpy and I don't want to pull out and get away. But there we go. That's coyote number 9 on the year. Man, I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and get a picture of him and get him dispatched. Alright guys, so I'm going to do this quick reset here. We just got the coyote. It's kind of muddy here. We've had a lot of rain and frost here. Forgot to mention, this is also my first coyote in the new MB Alpha. So when I go to reset it, we'll see how it is. I know a lot of people said after they caught something they had a hard time getting it to reset. I'm gonna see how it resets. Resets just fine. Setting perfect. So, and you see how much this coyote was jumping around when we got here. So, this one's still good. All the prongs are still straight. Jaws ain't bent, levers ain't bent. I'd say it did pretty good. So we got our trap bed. And we had our trap in, dug back out. I'm going to take some peat moss. I'm going to coat the bottom of it. Real good. That'll keep it dry in there so it shouldn't freeze if it gets below freezing again. I still got my wax paper up under the pan, so I don't need to add another one of those. I just need to work the trap until it's nice and solid like I want. And you can touch all 4 corners without it moving. That's where you want it. This coyote has a strong smell to it. There we go. Now we're just going to cover this trap in peat moss. Are you having fun? Sure you can hear my daughter playing back there. I'm going to get this grass built back up on top like we had it. I'm going to put my bait hole right in the middle. So yesterday when I checked traps, this one had been tripped. So I don't know if it was like a freeze thaw thing or maybe something dug it up. I have another trap over here about 10 yards and something had pulled it out. It was still set, but it was moved over. So I don't know what that was. But I'm going to go ahead and get our bait hole here. There's our old bait hole. I'm just going to waller it back out and get that hole like we want it. We got about a 2-inch hole there. Take our gloves off before we rebait so we don't get any scent on our next set. I'm going to put some of our Deadly Highway 71 down in the hole here. That's all we say. All it takes is about a half a spoonful. You don't need to put some huge glob down there. A lot of people say you need it, but you don't. You having fun? And then for lure, I have a new test lure out here. I'm going to put here, try out. This is like a strong lure. I'm just going to put a little bit down in the hole and around it.
Watch her, baby.
She's fine. So this set is redone. So we're going to go ahead and check the rest of our line, and hopefully we got another coyote or so. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and add to this video how I skin my coyotes, and also I'm going to extract all the glands that I use in my lures and stuff from the coyote, and I'm going to show you guys how I do that too. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this one. The tools that I use for the same tools for every animal. I just have one knife. This is my preferred knife. A cheap little sharpener from Mini Store. I got my aluminum tail stripper. And then a small little steel. This I use a lot for pulling fur. And I'll show you guys how I use that here in a little bit. So I start all of my animals off on the tailgate here. It's easier for me. And the way I did, if whatever gambrel you're using, if you're using like a spiked gambrel that goes through the right here, you don't want to cut this tendon here. But with the gambrel I have, I don't really care about that. It don't bother me if I cut it or not. So I just go around the foot here, and then I'll go around the second foot. And then your money cut, basically on a coyote, what you're going to do is right here on the back of the leg, you're going to have where your lighter colored hair meets your darker colored hair. And you're going to want to try to follow that all the way to the vent hole. So I'm just going to go down. And cut down as far as I can. I'm going to go to the other side. Do the same thing. Sorry about that dog that's barking in the background. So there we go, we got our cut. So now I'm going to go ahead and hang it up, and we're going to finish it on the gambrel there. So I'll move the camera around so you guys can see that better. Alright guys, so I'm going to try to do the best angles I can where you guys can see what I'm doing. But like I said, and I don't know if you guys watched my live video yesterday, but I'm not the best coyote skinner. I'm definitely not the quickest, but I get the job done. This is the biggest coyote that I've caught this year. I weighed him. He's only 28 pounds, but I thought he was bigger. But my other biggest one was 25, so he's still my biggest. So basically we're just going to start on the leg here. I'm going to skin all the way around it. Get the all the fur free from his leg. I'm just going to pull it down as much as we can. Put the knife down here. I'm just going to work on it, work it down. I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to go right here by the vent. I'm going to poke right beside it on the top side, closer to the tail. And I'm going to cut up to where it meets my cut that I made down the leg. So there we go. Now we're just going to start working this down. This is definitely, dog's definitely got a lot of hair. Just going to slowly work it down. Try not to get any holes in it, the least amount you possibly can. Said I'm not the greatest, so I always end up with a couple holes anyways. But just do the best you can. It's one of those things you're going to learn as you go. The more you do it, the better you'll get. So I'm going to go over here to the other leg. I'm going to find my cut, which is right here. I'm going to start skinning it down. And this thing's spinning around, I just want to spin on me. I guess I got it cut all the way right here. And just keep working it around. Once we get enough where we can kind of grip it, we'll pull it, but the best we can anyways. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go beside the vent. We're going to cut up to the cut that we've already made. And we're just going to work it down. Well, this coyote is fluffy. Can't hardly find my way through the fur. I definitely got all the coyotes I've been catching definitely have good coats on them. A lot of people are saying that you should probably start seeing them rubbed now, but I haven't seen any of them rubbed yet in my area. They're all still real furry with big thick coat on them. Raise them a little bit. Just keep working it. We're going to work it down to the base of the tail. Real quick. So this, to get this part out right here, we're just going to cut straight across. We got that skin, now we're just going to skin this down. And we have this worked down. Now for my glands that I use, I save the testicles. Just cut them out. So then we got one. Then we got two. I'm just going to continue to work it down. If you get a little bit of meat on it, it's okay, because you can always get that off later. So now I'm going to raise it. Skin it down to the tail. So now that we're on the tail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right up here to the top of the vent. I'm going to cut it straight across. And then I'm going to go grab my steel. I'm going to take my steel. I'm going to go right underneath the tail. And I'm going to shove it through. So now you got your steel or steel bar, whatever you want to use, up underneath the tail. I'm going to pull straight down. So now you got all that peeled down. You got it peeled on the tail. And what I do is I'm going to split this right here, this tail. I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to make a slit about halfway down the tail. That's what I always do. I'm just going to bring the tail down. I'm just going to continue to go around while we're folding the tail down. I'm going to go grab my tail stripper. And sometimes you can get it the first time, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you need to end up skinning a little farther down. And I'm just going to pinch it on the bigger hole. I'm going to put it in the middle of my hand. Now I'm going to hold the tail stripper in place. I'm going to pull up on the tail. So see, there we go. That's how easy it can be. And we're going to continue to work on this. Cut all this off. And then now you can really start pulling on it. You probably heard it before, you know. The fresher the coyote, the easier it's going to be to pull it. You know, if they sit in the back of your truck for a couple days, they're going to be harder to do. And I always just grab at the base of the tail, take my hand, stick it right here, get a nice big pull, and we're going to kind of help it along here, especially up here on the belly and chest side, because that can be your hardest part to get. Just trying our best not to put any holes in it. So you're going to keep your knife straight. You don't want to cut down. You're going to cut straight in because you want to cut towards the carcass. You don't want to cut the fur. That's the best way to try to prevent from putting holes in it. And I always put my hand on the back of its head, grab the feet, and I'm going to push them together. And once they start getting stiff, the legs are usually out. You push them back together. You always want to keep tension on the fur. So you pull it. I'm just going to help it along here. Just keep going downwards. And don't feel like you got to rush it and get done, you know, as quick as you can. Because that's normally when you're going to start tearing it up. That's when you start messing the ears up, the eyes up, putting holes in it. Trust me, I know, because I've been there. Trying to hurry up and get it done and then end up messing everything up. I'm going to give it another big pull. Again, your chest and belly area are going to be some of the hardest to get, just because the hide is so close to the skin. There ain't as much, you know, membrane or fat there. I'm going to raise it a little bit. And I like to take my fingers and just pull down on the hide right here. Just keep pulling and working it. A sharp knife is a big part of getting it done right, getting it done good. If you have a dull knife, you'll definitely end up putting a lot of holes in your fur. Get the chest. Keep working on it. Just keep working it down. And we're going to take our steel here. We're going to go right between the arm and the chest. We're going to push it through. Try to get it to come out right underneath the arm here. Let me skin down a little bit farther. Get our steel come through. I'm just going to pull down. Go to the other side. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to pull down. Maybe. I didn't get that one through where it should have been. There we go. Just pull down. So now we're down almost to the elbow. Pick up on the leg. Just work it down. I like to go just past the front elbows. Once I get there, I'm just going to cut it off. Because you don't need all that leg on there. You don't need to tube the leg all the way out. This one's trying to give me some problems. Get the leg out. This one will do the same thing. Work it down to the elbow, just past it. And pick up on the leg a little bit. Like I said, I'm not the best couch skinner, I'm definitely not the fastest. I don't know what it is today. These legs are trying to give me a lot of problems. There we go. I'm just going to cut it off right there. Now we got the legs out. And skin it down. You're going to keep tension on it, keep pulling it down. Raise it up. Just keep working it around. Now when you get down to the neck, there's two big like main veins. You definitely want to be careful with those and not to cut them. Because then you're going to have a mess. And we're definitely not trying to make a mess here. We got our ears. Go ahead and cut through our ears real deep. Around here. Some of this ear. I like to stick my finger in the ear. It's like a nice little handle. Tension handle. Keep pulling it and working it down. I'm gonna go sharpen my knife real quick. Back here. I'm gonna get down to the eyes. Again, still using the ears, so there's an eye. And cut as close to it as you can. If you accidentally end up cutting it not the way you want it, it's alright not to get it completely. Keep working it. We'll get them lips cut open. We'll use our eye holes to hold it. Keep working it down. Work the lips. We're going to get to the nose. We're going to cut the cartilage of the nose. And the bottom lip, we'll just cut it off. You don't really use it for nothing. So there we go. Get our hide off now. Get it turned back around where we can see it. There we go. There we go. We got our coyote skin. So throw it back here. I'm in for glands. I'll go get my gland bucket. So anywhere you're going to sell glands are all different on what they want or what they don't want. Me personally, I use my glands to make my own lures and stuff, so I know what I want in my recipe. So I keep my testicles. The pads, a lot of your bait makers don't use them, but I do. Got the big pad off the feet. I'm going to lower it down. And right here on the neck, you can see this main vein. It's going to like go into a Y right here. Well, right between that, there's a gland. You got to be careful getting it out that you don't cut that vein, because again, you're going to have a big mess if you do. So I'm just going to cut through like the membrane here. I'm going to try to get that gland popped out so I can cut it off. Some of these are a little more difficult to get than others. This one just didn't want to come out. There we go. Again, you want to be careful with those veins, not to cut them. So there we go, we got that gland out. And go to the other side. Same thing. Wherever that Y is at. Try not to poke that vein. There, that one came out real easy. Got that gland out. Just going to cut it out. Same one spins, there we go. So there we go, we got that gland out. Now you got some in the front of the arms. These ones are a little more difficult to find. A lot of times you'll lose those when you're skinning. They'll come off on your hide or whatever. I see it. These ones are real small. My hand keeps slipping off of it. So there we go, just a real small one. The other side, I'm pretty sure it came off on the hide. So I'm gonna lower it. Now right here on the back of the legs, you got another gland. Now these ones are really big at coming off when you're skinning. There we go, we got this one. Got that one. Come to this leg, we're going to cut right behind the elbow. There's like fat, and we're going to try to dig through it and find it. There we go. Now, one of the biggest ones is we're going to cut the vent, I guess you call it, the butthole. I'm going to cut all that out. I call it the poop chute. I'm going to cut it all out. This is the one that I like the most in using. You got a lot of strong smell here. A lot of times, like if you're cutting glands out to take to a buyer, you're gonna try your best not to get too much hair in it. And then again, you know, my recipes, I'm not real worried about it if I get hair in it. And I'm not gonna cut a big chunk of hair off, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of time trimming it off either. There we go. Go ahead and try to pull out as much of it as you can. Sorry guys, not sure what happened. My camera shut off or something, but we finished getting that out of there. As far as this hair goes, I had someone ask me in the live last night. I just leave that on there. You don't need it. And that's all I get. I know there's a lot of bait makers and stuff. They'll cut them open. They'll take like the bladder, and some will use like the liver and stuff like that. I don't do that mainly because I don't want to have to mess with the guts and stuff. So that's all I cut off of them. It's good enough for me. So I hope this video helps somebody out there. You know, again, I'm not the best skinner or anything out there. So I hope this video helps somebody out. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your trapping season. And stick with us. Thank you.